What's going on, guys? I'm Jay the Black. Shout out to everyone that's tuning in. I want to talk about Shannon Sharpe, man. Shannon Sharpe made some interesting comments when he was asked about the Bronny James situation a few days ago. Now, I had this to speak about. At the time, I had spoken about Bronny James in regards to RG3. I spoke about what he had to say. And I wanted to wait a little bit because I felt like I didn't want to speak about it too much. But when I looked again at what Shannon had to say, I said, you know what? Maybe there's something in here that Shannon was actually trying to say. Now, Shannon is a guy that has dated out, and I think he, as an athlete, would understand preference and understanding that, listen, I'm not gonna date a woman just because she's black. Now, y'all see Shannon Sharpe on TV, y'all hear what he has to say. You think that he's one of these pro-black commentators. He may be, but he's also a guy that's gonna date the women that he wants to date. He's not gonna date a woman just because she's black. Now, I don't see a lot of pushback, because I was looking forward to seeing if there was gonna be any pushback towards Shannon. I mean, we will see once I post this video, but for the most part, I haven't seen any outrage towards him. I think Shannon Sharpe is speaking from the heart. I think Shannon Sharpe sincerely feels that Bronny James should not have to date a girl just because she's black. And I think a lot of black men, unfortunately, especially when they're famous, when they are successful, they have to date melanated women when they may not want to. They may want to explore their options, but they feel pressure. I mean, look at Michael B. Jordan. I mean, he may like Lori Harvey, but let's be real. Before Lori Harvey, he was continuously getting trolled over the fact that he hadn't been connected to a black woman. Now that has seemingly gone away. Not to say he doesn't like Lori Harvey, but I think that he doesn't want to be known as a successful black actor or entertainer that wants to go and date Becky. I don't think he wants that to be what people see him as. So let's get into this article from Outkick. Shannon Sharpe sounds off on people criticizing Bronny for taking white classmate to the prom. Fox Sports' Shannon Sharpe has come to the defense of Bronny James, who was a victim of critical comments on social media earlier this month. Shannon told TMZ Sports this week that people need to get a life after Twitter users were upset that James, who is black, went to the prom with a white classmate. You know, I also think that it's the fact that Bronny James, the son of LeBron James, I think they made a connection because, you know, he grew up with a strong black mother. They just say, well, he's going to get with a black female. And that's not the case. And again, with Shannon Sharpe being an athlete, he understands the criticism that these black athletes get. He talks to them. And I'm sure he's had these conversations. Because they don't want to be trolled and criticized. You know how many videos I've made of athletes minding their business, but because they're with a Caucasian woman, they continuously are getting trolled by melanated women, let's be real, over who they choose to be with. I just saw that a WNBA player, a melanated WNBA player, just had a baby by a Caucasian guy. Do you think that people are gonna troll her and say she should have chose a black man? No, you're not gonna hear any controversy. All you're gonna hear is about people congratulating her and thinking it's the best thing ever. So let's get into this post. As you can see from the Shannon Sharpe burner account, Shannon Sharpe went off on people who criticized Bronny and his prom date. Let's take a look at this.
There's some craziness going on right now online aimed at Bronny Jr.
Right.
And you know, people are criticizing his prom date.
People would rather you be miserable with someone of your own race than you be in love with someone of a different race. It is so utterly ridiculous. I read the comments. Yeah. People need to get a life.
Shannon was ready to speak about this. Shannon is absolutely right. They would rather you be miserable with somebody you don't want to be with, then you actually be with somebody you want to be with. Now, people are going to say, well, black women deal with this too. Black men are upset when black women date out. I mean, looking at the outrage that I see on social media, I don't really see it. Now, I will say this though, and I'll probably speak about it in a separate video. I did speak about the Malika Andrews situation, but that situation came out of nowhere. And there are people but they weren't really trolling her. They're not really like going in on her the way that people going on Bronny James, and she's an adult. Bronny James is still a minor. And also you have Taylor Rooks, who apparently is secretly dating the ex-Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey, because they've been seen a couple different times together. All right.
Let that man be happy. I get it. But if that's not what brings him joy, if that's not what brings him happiness, who are you to tell him who he should be with because it's not of his race? The people.
That's right.
Our people, man, sometimes I get so sick of them sometimes because it's ridiculous. Let the man be happy. That's your problem. You went with someone because they're black. That don't make you happy, but because society says, we should be with our own race, that's what you're willing to do. No, I'm going to be with who makes me happy. Damn what y'all say. Y'all live y'all life, I'm going to live my life. What is it called?
Shannon Sharpe is 100% right. And there are things that I disagree with Shannon Sharpe about, but Shannon Sharpe is honest here. He's right. We should be with people that we want to be with. And I think you're seeing it more with black males. That's why we're getting so critical. I think we're used to it. I think us as black men, I think we're used to the criticism. We're used to people being upset at who we're dating, especially if we're dating don't let it be an attractive Caucasian woman. Even though, when I've seen black men, they've been with Caucasian women who's in shape, who's curvy, who's not ugly. I'm saying myself personally, recently, right? They're not with the stereotypical, unattractive, fat white woman. I think we know better than that. And we're not going to date out for less. Okay? And I think that us as black men, we've gotten so used to it. But when you start going at the youngins, right? In a society where y'all want to end racism. You want to end racism, but then you want to say, but you shouldn't be dating those Beckys, though. And again, with Shannon Sharpe, Shannon Sharpe is a guy who gets on TV and he speaks up for black people, and people have this certain perception of Shannon, not understanding that Shannon is that guy. Shannon is that guy who has gotten criticism being connected to Caucasian women. He understands that. He speaks to other athletes. He knows what they go through. He knows that they are getting shamed constantly about who they're with. Never seen anything like it. Black women, like, look at Serena Williams, all the praise. Women like her, who are professional athletes, who date out, they get a lot of praise and a lot of love and a lot of pats on the back. Black men, they want to know why. What about your mother? Do you care about your community? And these are the conversations that guys like Shannon Sharpe and others are having. And they're like, well, we should be able to date who we want to date. Y'all date who y'all want to date. But in this society, we are supposed to, especially as melanated men, do what everybody tells us to do. We can't think for ourselves. I think that's the major problem. Most people in society can't think for themselves. But I have seen melanated men, regardless of the criticism and the backlash, they have still done whatever it is they want to do. They're not going to allow anybody to keep them from their happiness. Unfortunately, some of these guys do. Some of these guys allow the backlash. They allow you might get criticized from black women. They do allow that to alter what they want, right?
You don't have to feed Bronny. Bronny doesn't live with you. You don't have to see Bronny. People get so concerned with everybody else's life that they don't they don't live their life because you worried about somebody else's life. Yeah. I'm like, what is it? I was reading it and I'm like, I was like, oh man, they're a cute couple. Bronny looks so happy. Oh, this and that.
Yeah.
I'm like, people.
Almost. You think it could have ruined his night, man?
No.
I hope not.
He probably didn't see it until later.
Yeah.
But it wasn't gonna. It shouldn't ruin this night because Bronny can't live his life for someone else.
You know, I was told in the comment section of my Bronny James video, I believe it was that or the RG3 video, that Bronny James asked DJ Academics to take down a post of, I guess, his prom situation. I'm not 100% sure, but that somebody told me that in the comment section. So obviously he must have seen it, which is absolutely ridiculous. And it's also ridiculous that LeBron James or his wife have said nothing, that people like Shannon Sharpe have to, and RG3 have to speak up for Bronny James, but his mother and his father haven't. They want to give them a pass. None of y'all gonna say nothing about my son without me responding, because LeBron James responds to everything else.
He has to live for him, and far too many people live their life for other people.
Yeah.
Social media has done it. Social media is great because it's your own platform. It's your own radio show. It's your own TV show.
Yeah.
You can be your host. You can be a professional at everything. But it's forced people to live their lives for other people because now you're living your life through the lens of how you're being portrayed.
Facts.
And I can't do that.
It gets blurred.
Yeah, I can't do it. I got to be me.
And I agree with that. I think that we should live for ourselves and we shouldn't live for other people. You know, that's why you have so many miserable people in society, because they're with people they don't want to be with. You know, it's 2022. Y'all want to bring the races together. Y'all want to be accepted, but y'all like, well, well, you know, these melanated women are going to say, well, I want me a Brad, but then these black men say, well, I want a Becky. They're like, no, you can't have a Becky. You can't have one. It's crazy out here, man. People would rather you be miserable with someone of your own race than be in love with someone of a different race, Sharpe said. It is so utterly ridiculous. People need to get a life. James, every move appears to be in the spotlight due to being not only LeBron James' son, but also his status as one of the best high school basketball players in the country. With that kind of attention on him, Sharpe said the best thing he can do is ignore the noise and do what he wants to do. Bronny can't live his life for someone else, Sharpe said. He has to live for him, and far too many people live their life for other people. Former NFL quarterback and current ESPN analyst Robert Griffin sounded off last week on criticizing James' decision. Those criticizing James' decision in a video posted on Instagram. Leave these kids alone. Yeah, man, y'all need to leave these kids alone, because one, y'all don't know them, and two, it's creepy and weird how all you adults, y'all been worrying about Bronny James' dating life since he was 15 years old. Since Bronny James been about 15, 16 years old, you adults have been concerned about his dating life. And I agree with Shannon Sharpe. You know, melanated men should do what's best for them and not live for anybody else. Because I guarantee you right now, we would definitely get criticized if we would be talking about who a teenage girl is dating. A teenage melanated girl is dating. Nobody's talking about Emmitt Smith's daughter going to the prom with a Caucasian guy. That doesn't matter, right? Well, he's not as relevant as LeBron James. Are you crazy? Look, Emmitt Smith was one of the best running backs in the NFL in the 90s. Won championships. He's a Hall of Famer. What are you talking about? Just because he's not playing right now doesn't mean he's any less relevant. Anyway, let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts. Like this video and share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll see y'all in the next one.